Hello, once again, good friends. Welcome, new subscribers. I'm Brian from Apex Detail. In bits and pieces of various videos, you have seen and come in contact with my hybrid wash process, and I get a lot of questions on it. So I thought I would throw it all together for you in really no particular order. I just want to show you everything that I will use if I have to, if I come across certain situations. And I'll explain the process as I go through it, what's going through my mind and what I use it for. And hopefully that helps you out. It's a hybrid wash process, rinseless, waterless, and with no water hookup whatsoever, no pressure washer, no hose, no 12 bucket method. So let's head out into the shop and I'll walk you through the process. Today I need to prepare this Harley-Davidson for correction to apply ceramic coating. And it's quite dirty. It's been run through some streets that have a little bit of leftover salt and brine mixture from treatment during the wintertime. And it's going to need to be cleaned thoroughly in all those hard-to-reach places. I'm going to use my typical rinseless, waterless hybrid wash. And with the motorcycle, there are some areas that may need protection. A lot of the motorcycles are made to get wet. It is inevitable to get caught out into, out in rainstorms. I have many a times. So they can get wet, but there are some areas you want to protect, intakes and some electrical parts. So before we get started, I have everything set up and we're going to go through each category or each situation as I use it. Right here's the Multi-X. I'll either use this or Optimum Polymers Power Clean and dilute it 5:1 and put it in the IK Foam 9 foamer here. This is what I would use as a pre-treat for getting some of that real baked on, cooked on dirt, traffic film, and start to break it down. Now, if I already have my air compressor going and it has been fully built up with pressure, I can also grab the Griot's Garage air foamer. It does pretty much the same thing this does. It's just operated through an air compressor instead of a manual pump. You can use the smaller IK foamers. You can use really any air pump sprayer that you would want to do this pre-treat on motorcycles, cars, boats, RVs, and ATVs. I'm going to let that dwell from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes depending on how soiled the vehicle is that I'm working on. And I'll follow up by using my Kraus and Becker and some fresh water. And I'll do a rinse, and this rinses the pre-treat and also blows off any grittiness, salt, brine, cinders, anything that has been put down on the road for traction that might have splashed up and could get in between the wash media that's coming up for the contact wash and the surface of the vehicle. We don't want to do any scratching or marring. We want to prevent as much of that as possible, even though I do have to do correction on everything I work on. I still don't like to make more work for myself than is needed. Today, I just have fresh water in the bucket for the rinse portion of this. Sometimes I'll include ONR or American Detailer Garage Wipeout or whatever I'm using for a rinseless wash that particular day. Today, I just have regular water in there because I already have buckets that are set up with my rinseless wash products in there, and that'll be coming up shortly. As you can see, a huge turnaround already with the equipment we used without using a pressure washer or a foam cannon. So now we're ready for the contact portion, and my favorite products for that, American Detailer Garage, DPC, and ONR No Rinse. These have a ton of lubrication. There are others that are decent and have lubrication, Masterson's, Ammo. However, these are the three that are a little bit more cost effective, and you can dilute them, and they really are great products. And again, I'm going to go around with now the rinseless wash, and I'll do another pre-treat and soak the whole vehicle with it. If I'm working on a car, I'll just start with the roof and do one section at a time. With the bike, you can do one half at a time. And another way I can do that is with this sprayer here. This is compressed air, operated by compressed air, an old paint canister. This isn't the gravity fed that I've graduated to when I do spray paint, so I moved these canisters over into spraying ONR. So what this does is it pre-treats and also helps to blow off any remaining grit that could still be hard to reach areas on the surface. Basically, for pre-treating this way, I'll either dip the canister or the 32-ounce spray bottle in the bucket with the pre-diluted solution in there. And there are different dilutions for the different products. O&R has their 256 to 1 or whatever it is. And American Detailer and DPC and some of the other products have their own dilution ratios. You just have to follow the label. So what I'm going to do after I pre-treat it and let it sit a little bit is fire up my steamer. And this is the cheap steamer. And I'm going to blow out those hard to reach areas. And this is going to help me get some of the bonded contaminants that have bonded themselves to the frame rails, the sprocket, the chain, all those intricate parts underneath the motorcycle. Motorcycles have a lot of corners, openings, seams, nooks and crannies to get into, and the steamer really helps me with that. When it comes to using it on the car, I'll use it from the door handles down or the character lines on the cars on down, where you get a lot of traffic film and bonded contaminants, and the steamer really helps to blow that stuff away. What I'm doing is just protecting myself again from marring. All these steps leading up to this point where we're at right here is to help to cut down on marring, getting rid of grit and bonded contaminants. Okay, we're finally ready for the contact wash. I'm comfortable that I can make contact and not mar the vehicle that I'm working on. You could use a microfiber dedicated to rinseless washes. You can use the big red sponge, what I have here. You can use the blue sponge, whatever you have. Doesn't really matter what wash media you have. You're going to use it pretty much the same. Pull it out of the bucket with the solution and don't wring it out completely that it's dry. And also don't pull it out that it's soaking wet and dripping all over the place. Just give it one quick squeeze and then continue on with the contact wash. As we progress through every step, keep an eye on the floor. At the end, I'm going to show you all the moisture that has built up on the floor. It's not going to be a whole lot. I have it parked right over the lowest part of the floor. I usually do it over a tarp, and I'll show you that at the end as well. But we have a full house today, so I kind of have this bike pulled into a corner, which is the lowest part of the floor. And when I'm done, I can simply grab my mop. If it really starts to build up a lot of moisture and I have something larger, I can use a shop vac if I need to. Having a pile of dedicated drying towels nearby, I can put the wash media away and jump to the drying process without missing a beat. You'll take notice of the deep clean we're getting here. And in case of a customer walks in or I get a phone call or there's some type of emergency, I can quickly drop everything and walk away. I have no pressure washer running. I don't have the hose running. I don't have foam running all over the place. And I can come back and pick up where I left off. On a motorcycle, it's very rare that I can reach everything to dry it with the microfiber towel, so I'll grab the Griot's Garage air tool, pneumatic tool to help assist drying vehicles with forced air. You could use a leaf blower, you could use a little PT blower that I've had in some of my older videos, a smaller unit, easier to lift up over your shoulders and get into tighter areas. Okay, with that finished, I could see the typical areas that I miss on a motorcycle the first time around. So I already have my steamer set up with a little bit of O&R in there, and I'm going to clean up after myself and get those small areas that I missed the first time. In no time at all, we're finished. It is completely dry. It's ready for correction and looks pretty darn good. After all that, I wanted to show you the moisture that is left on the floor. A little bit gathered at the lowest part of the floor. Other than that, as I walk around the other side of the machine, you can see it's just a little bit of moisture there. A mop, maybe a shop vac at most, and we're finished. Normally I would do it on one of two tarps that I have, one like this, or one with sides that have 3 inches of a lip to keep the moisture trapped inside. As I have to admit, coming from that building into the new building here, and I'm not planning on putting an elaborate drain system in this building, it took me a little while to get used to the process once again. I used to be waterless and rinseless when I was mobile at one point, strictly mobile, and then going back up and getting spoiled being able to use foam cannons and different types of pressure washers throughout the building. And then coming here and having to adjust took some time. And now that I have the system down pat once again with all of those tools and products implemented, it has really picked up and has become quicker and easier. And I enjoy it. I don't see myself ever going back. And I think it's a deeper clean. It's something that if I get interrupted, and have to walk away because of a customer or a phone call or some type of an emergency, I can just come back and pick up where I left off. I don't have foam everywhere that I have to rinse off that I'd be worried about it drying on the car or anything like that. So if you have any questions at all, again, don't hesitate. This has been Brian from Apex Detail. Catch you in the next video.